AskReddit by Freezerwalk. Those who haven't caught COVID yet, how have you managed to avoid it? Deleted. What do you call a man from Gary, in who has a big dick? Hungarian. I'm always congested. COVID can't get in. I hardly ever get sick, but I have terrible allergies the rest of the time. I wonder if there's any truth to this, for the same reason we hear about the flu and COVID out competing each other. I'm almost 7 tall. I believe I am breathing from a different air supply than most other people. I'm 6 feet 8. I went to a festival a while back and was the only one of my mates not to get it. I reckon that's why. Anytime I see a COVID particle coming at me, I duck. If you can dodge a COVID, you can dodge a ball. I hate people and I don't like to be touched. Let's be friends. Actually, never mind. I got a brain tumor and I got isolated in a hospital about 1 year ago, and now I'm just trying to keep distance from people. Edit. Thank you all. I am very grateful for all the support and I am very thankful for everything and everyone. There were probably easier ways to avoid COVID than the route you chose. But I respect the dedication. On the reals though, hope you kick that tumor's ass. I haven't had it yet and I don't know how it's possible. All my colleagues, my whole family, and my friends have had it. Some people have super immunity to it. The wonders of genetic differences. Me live in cave. Me never see people. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm just a caveman. I fell on some ice and later got thawed out by some of your scientists. Your world frightens and confuses me. Sometimes the honking horns of your traffic make me want to get out of my BMW and run off into the hills, or wherever. Sometimes when I get a message on my fax machine, I wonder, did little demons get inside and type it? I don't know. My primitive mind can't grasp these concepts. But there is one thing I do know: when a man like my client slips and falls on a sidewalk in front of a public library, then he is entitled to no less than 2 million in compensatory damages, and 2 million in punitive damages. Thank you. Edit. The original SNL sketch. https://yahoo.be/2azafqrxfey closed bracket if anyone hasn't seen it. I didn't avoid COVID. COVID avoided me. As goofy as that sounds, some people just aren't as susceptible. In a household of 5, 3 of us got it, and my husband never did, despite being around our youngest a lot and sleeping next to me while I was unwell and prior to my having taken a test. He didn't get it, and it wasn't for a lack of exposure to 2 confirmed cases. Likewise the middle kid, who even rode with me in the car in close proximity to get tested negative, despite having symptoms of something. Maybe it'll catch up with him at some point, but so far it seems like it did indeed avoid him. Edit. To add that Hubs tested negative several times. Edit 2. We've always been as vaccinated and boosted as we can be, as soon as we've been able to do so. My mother has tested positive twice but was never sick. If people don't feel sick and don't get tested, it doesn't mean they never caught COVID. Yeah, I think this is part of the answer. My brother only found out he had it because he had to fly back when he needed a negative test, so he got a test thinking it was a formality and he was positive. Even got a follow-up. Same deal. But 0 symptoms. Felt fine. Just no flying for him that week. As a person that hasn't had it, I wonder if I'm in the same boat or just lucky. Time will tell. I am incredibly lonely. Edit. To the people DMing me, you are good people, don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Hugs. I suspect I'm just immune to it at this point. I had every reason to catch it. Edit. WHO cursed me? WHO jinxed me? What karmic debt do I owe? Not 2 days after posting this I tested positive for COVID, and I got it bad. Listen to your elders, kids. Deleted. Easy, I haven't left the house. Same here. I never had to adjust to a new normal BC. I had stopped leaving the house years prior. I didn't experience any of the changes that occurred when going to public places. Stay away from kids. Honestly, the best way to avoid getting sick. Kids are just walking germ bags. There is a current study going on to answer this question. Google Super Dodgers. But it turns out you have to have been exposed multiple times and still not have been infected, symptomatic or not. I'm more in the camp of as far as I know, I haven't been exposed and haven't been in close quarters with anyone who was positive, to my knowledge. I leave my house maybe 3 or 4 times a week. It's easy when you're already an introvert lol. Edit, for context. Pre-COVID, I used to commute 5 days a week and go out on weekends. Look at Immerse social over here, getting out 3 or 4 times a week. I'm extremely asocial, like literally a hermit. I went to a friend's engagement party in November and it was the first social event I had been to in 3 years. I was social distancing before it was cool. Edit, there, I changed it to a social. Now shut the fuck up. Same. Went to one concert 2 weeks ago, it was the first event I was at since 2015, because I thought, well, you cannot hide forever, caught COVID. I work construction so I'm outside a lot, small group of co-workers, small responsible group of friends, got vaxxed and wash my hands. I work in aviation. A lot of anti-vaxxers but there was very little cross-crew contact and we were outside a lot. A rep came in hella sick one day and infected 4 people, 2 died, 2 were out for 4 months. Mask and lots of hand sanitizer and washing hands. Last Christmas my wife and I went to our family party and were the only ones masked. We were the only ones to not catch COVID from my aunt. Shit works. All these answers and this one is the true answer. I wore a fucking mask lol and never got it. I know this as I volunteer weekly at the county jail and they require a test every time I walk in. I am very 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 antisocial. I took basic common sense precautions to lower the chances of catching spreading it and leveraged my own anxiety for good measure. I was preparing for this all my life. I developed a terribly crippling social anxiety for 18 years. Even my parents helped by then chasing me out of the house by being absolute terrible pieces of shit. I found a place to move into and haven't gone outside for more than 1 hour a day since then. My anxiety superpower made me keep a distance from people even before any pandemic did. I'm more powerful than you could ever imagine. At the beginning of the lockdown, I joked that my husband had been training for this his entire life. He occasionally reminisces about those early days when no one asked him to hang out. I still wear my mask. Never had a positive test. However, that doesn't mean I haven't caught COVID. Many people catch COVID and are asymptomatic, so it is difficult to be sure that one hasn't caught it. Yeah, I think still wearing a mask has a lot to do with why I still haven't gotten it yet. I might look like the weirdo still wearing a mask everywhere, but this past summer I went to my grandparents' house for the first time in COVID without a mask and some random woman showed up and was sniffling everywhere and talking about how she was just getting over a 3-week cold. Wouldn't you know, a week later I caught some mild sickness, tested twice, not COVID, for the first time in 2.5 years. Ever since then I'm making sure my mask stays on because the inconvenience of being sick far outweighs the inconvenience of a mask since my immune system works a little too well and I have insane body aches from the most mild of viruses. I get shit for it every Thanksgiving and Christmas still, but whatever, right? EC. Also I'm triple vaxxed and everyone I know who caught it I just stayed away from until they were fine. Wearing a mask, washing your hands, avoiding large crowds. I teach public school and have 2 kids. At one point, everyone in my house had it, but I still tested negative. I think I'm either A, immune, or B, had a very mild case and didn't know it. And, of course, I'm vaccinated. It may not be accurate anymore or even obsolete, but at one point during the pandemic researchers found relations between the outcome of getting COVID and the blood types. While it looked like people with blood type A were more likely to get infected while people with BT0 or RH were more likely be protected. https://www.ncbi.nlm.gov/pmc/articles/pmc8286549/#sec0008 title. I, myself, am 0+ and so far haven't caught it, despite most of my colleagues at work had it, some even twice. But I am also not the most sociable person and have been quite strict with hygiene even before COVID. I can't even count how often per day I am washing my hands. I hate people. Simple. 1. Washing my hands. 2. Wore a mask. 3. Got all the shots. 4. Stayed away from crowds. So far, so good. I do nothing but stay home. As someone who deals with OCD on a daily basis, sanitization of my hands and the objects I own has been a routine of mine way before COVID. Home office, wearing a mask using public transport. I'm the only person in my local grocery store that still wears a mask. Fist bumped a fellow weirdo. I think it's a combination of things, but it's mainly I probably have had it, but I've probably been just asymptomatic or have such minor symptoms that they are mistaken for other stuff, cold, allergies, sinus issues. Could be immunity. I've got the latest booster too and wasn't around a ton of people during the pre-vaccine days. The 5 Ds. 1. Dodge. 1. Dive. 1. Dip. 1. Duck. 1. Dodge. I'm still WFH. I still mask almost everywhere. I have a very small group of friends I see, and I've gotten every shot I can. I'm obviously a shill sheep, but I just followed public health recommendations. 1. Wore a mask when appropriate. 2. Washed, sanitized my hands regularly, especially before eating. I'm a germaphobe. No more explanation needed.